Sea Change 2025 Part 1. Is the world getting flipped upside down or right side up? Sea Change. Full fathom 5 Thy father lies. Of his bones are coral made. Those are pearls that were his eyes. Nothing of him that doth fade, but doth suffer a sea change into something rich and strange. The Tempest. A sea change is a total, redefining change. And yet, as much as things change, they remain the same. You can't step into the same river twice, even though history repeats itself. So it's out with the old and in with the new, because the only thing that doesn't change is change itself. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end, even though old habits die hard. So raise a glass, right here, right now. There is no other place we'd rather be. Right here, right now. Watching the world wake up from history. Can the world wake up from history? Do we even need it to? I guess that depends on if we've been sleeping. Have you ever had a dream, Neo, that you were so sure was real? Said Morpheus as Neo put his fingers into the mirror. What if you were unable to wake from that dream? How would you know the difference between the dream world and the real world? These days, everyone likes to make memes about Clown World. Even Elon does it. And of course we get it, right? We're all forced to live in this clown dream world, unable to wake up from the dream. But what about the other side of Morpheus's question? What about the distinguishing of the dream world versus the real world? It's so easy to run all the stupid things we see every day in the news through our Clown World analysis. Nancy Pelosi is better at the stock market than Warren Buffett? Sure, I guess. But what does the other side of the dream look like? What about the waking? Can we even imagine? And why is any of this even important? Well, it turns out being the President of the United States of America matters sometimes less and sometimes more. A newspaper has to curate events for the benefit of the public at large. So if anything, this is a window in why XXX does this, or at least what we think people should understand. If they want to, people have a right to know about the highest heights of the news, the same way they have a right to understand the deeper meaning of chess. If they want to know, it is not a matter of intelligence. It is a matter of respect for existing, like the parable of the wedding feast. We do not have to pay attention, but we should, for our own sake, because we are not the king. In America, we don't believe in earthly kings, although we do respect them. In America, we the people are sovereign and our religion is freedom. Although our worldview has always been Christian in its root, this is altogether different from religion. Jesus did not found a religion. People built one around him. Jesus had to fulfill the law and the prophets and reconcile the lost by being the way, the truth, and the life. John 14 verse 6. By paying the price for our sins. Romans 8 verse 32. But the reality is, king or president or clay pot maker, things are changing. So it matters so much who the players are. You can't play the game if you don't have the pieces. This time around, it may matter so much, in fact, that everything changes. The stage has certainly been set. And whether President Trump has orchestrated this denouement, like Prospero in The Tempest, or is being driven himself by it, one thing is certain: sea change imminent. President Trump has always maintained that there is a corruption in Washington, D.C. that we don't understand. His swamp. And although when he first began speaking about swamp stuff, most assumed he was somehow radicalized. The longer time has gone on, the more apparent sense he has been able to make to more and more people. NPR recently allowed Mike Rothschild to voice his opinion on their platform, where Mike showed his deep understanding of Trump's je ne sais quoi by diving right into the deep end of internet culture and conspiracies. As the obvious justification stating, QAnon as a movement based around secret codes and clues and riddles doesn't so much exist anymore, But it doesn't need to exist anymore because its tenets have become such a major part of mainstream conservatism and such a big part of the base of people that re-elected Donald Trump. Gee, thanks for that cutting-edge analysis, Mike. It's always nice when a Rothschild has the time to share their opinion with the world. But since you brought it up, there is Q. And there are the people who research and educate others about Q called Anons. But Anon doesn't come from Q. Like, you don't take Q plus Anons and get something called QAnon. Anons are the anonymous accounts on places like 4chan, which is where Q posted his famous Q posts. People should look into the Q clock and the secret codes Mike mentioned. It's probably just some stupid Trump internet radicals anyways, right? Honestly, President Trump's popularity didn't keep growing because of internet conspiracies. Perhaps Dave Chappelle said it best.
He said, I know the system is rigged because I use it.
To watch the rest of what Chappelle said, please visit mmmxxx.substack.com. Now, where were we? Oh yeah. Funny how even after all this time, the truth cuts like a knife. Must be a law of the universe or something. Call us crazy, but might it be? Trump's radicalized honesty and integrity that would make him admit those things on national television. Almost as if he doesn't care about his reputation. He just flaunts Playboy status like Bruce Wayne and was trying to tell us something about how it really works, because he's secretly Batman. So, is this the type of secret stuff President Trump wants to tell us about? Billionaire tax code stuff? We should expect some kind of epic Bernie Madoff scandal and then back to business as usual? Well, maybe. How do we tell? Is Trump Batman? What would Neo do in The Matrix? We all know Neo was supposed to be a programmer, right? A hacker too. Wouldn't it have been great if Neo took his finger out of the mirror, looked back at Morpheus, and said, I'd use a confusion matrix to define a classification algorithm. Thank you for your help, Neo, but the pants are scaring us. While it is interesting to calculate a confusion matrix about truth, your residual self-image is gestalting to bother the other patrons. Thank you for the Matrix and also the Matrix, but you brought NPH into it and ruined everything. I kept waiting for NPH to explain to Neo how I met your mother. From here on out, we're done with the Matrix, and we're telling the rest of the story with just Batman and Shakespeare. Back to the Tempest. Cue the storm. We are such stuff, as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep. Shakespeare said a lot of insightful things in The Tempest, and in this masterpiece we see, perhaps, Shakespeare at the height of his powers. Which is ironic because The Tempest is about powers, and how the world is like an illusion. Writers throughout the ages seem to kind of focus on that a bit. Should we bring up Jesus again? Astute readers may also note this theme throughout Shakespeare, of a The Matrix-esque vibe, since all the world is a stage. From As You Like It is one of Shakespeare's most famous lines. Did you notice it used in this past week's news? Geez. It sounds like those people have a lot of power and ambition to control reality as a battle space. This notion of the public commerce and cyberspaces being manipulated is at the heart of fifth-generation warfare. And there is a better chance than not that our lives over the past half-decade have been being lived inside this type of a bubble of reality constructs. Why is this so likely? Well, we live at the end of history. Sometimes you take one step forwards and two back, and sometimes you take one back and two forwards. The point is that sometimes you think you're making progress, but you're not, and vice versa. So is it possible that this has been going on much longer than any of us may understand? How can we strive as active consumers of the news to better understand this? We need a case study. Break the matrices back out. Not the Matrix Neo. Don't even think about it. A matrix, if you will, to help us formulate this idea into less abstract and more concrete terms. And since we haven't got all day to expose this esoteric notion in the light of either truth or justice or literature for that matter, for you Shakespearean English majors out there, let's us calculate a matrix of shadows. Allow the crazy things from Clown World to fall into their columns, like Tetris blocks canceling out rows of insanity. Is there a pattern? Forget trying to figure out if Trump is Batman like before. This time around, look at the matrix and ask yourself, has Gotham been taken over? Are its institutions poisoned? When the mainstream media tells us that voter IDs are used all around the earth, in nearly every modernized country, but doing it in America is racist. When defending other countries' borders are important but our own is not. When medicines work in other countries but not in the USA. As one real Nick recently put it, this level of lying is what you see in full-blown dictatorships. So for the sake of wrapping all this up, let's just take a peek at some of the Clown World stuff and see what these QAnon Trump racist enemy combatants have to say about the world being fake. Everyone reference your Matrix bingo card, please. 1. Matt Gaetz's real-life house that he grew up in is Jim Carrey's house from The Truman Show? WTF. Okay. We'll give you that one. That one is kinda weird. Especially because the whole movie is about how that guy's life is a fake construct. But the rest is surely nonsense, right? Right? Take a step back to, why is everything so politicized? Why is everyone so offended? People really have come to, despite living next door to one another, come to believe radically different things about the world we share. How did it get like this? Wait, Trump didn't rape that woman? Wait, ABC and their Rhodes Scholar journalist had to pay him $15 million for literally faking the news about that for so long? Wait, George Stephanopoulos is the fake news? WTF. ABC News? And Trump didn't collude with Russia? Wait, that famous letter with 51 high-ranking intelligence officials staking their careers on Trump as a traitor is BS? Wait, Charles McGonigal, former head of FBI NYC Counterintel, was actually arrested for being a Russian agent? The flipping head of flipping counterintelligence? Okay, chill. This is just people being corrupt AF. This doesn't mean our reality is being manipulated. I mean, I know we just saw them say it on 60 Minutes, but that's not what he meant. He's a spy after all. Wait, Luigi is now in the same prison cell block as Puffy? I mean, as P. Diddy? I mean, just Diddy? Listen, did Diddy find himself in the same prison cell block as Luigi? Or didn't Diddy? Wait, SBF is there too? WTF. Wait, Diddy's lawyer is married to Luigi's lawyer? James Comey's daughter, who prosecuted Ghislaine Maxwell, is now on the Diddy case? Does that mean they are the same case? Wait, are they the same case? Did Diddy do dangerous dealings? Like I think we're all thinking, or didn't Diddy, did he? Wait, is Epstein connected to hip-hop? Wait a flipping second here. Okay. This is not okay. So, either hip-hop was the iceberg of all conspiracies, or it's just the tip. What could be underneath the surface of the water? If an iceberg like that exists? You magnificent bastard. How dare you? I guess spaceships are really real? Okay, now you're just screwing with us. But this doesn't mean there is a conspiracy. Wait, The Simpsons TV show exactly predicted the God particle Higgs boson from CERN years in advance of actual science. The exact formula? Exactly? Well, I don't know what to say. Did you know that there is an alternative to the viral theory of disease? An entirely different explanation is called the cellular theory. Isn't it weird how the moon landing conspiracy persists? Wait, we lost the technology to go back to the moon? Isn't it strange about all the academic fraud at high-level institutions in recent years? At least it was just academic fraud though, right? What's the point here? What are we supposed to do about any of this? What does it mean? What should we do? I think I need to eat something. Want to get a hot dog?
Well, as you all know, today is National Hot Dog Day. And perhaps you also know that hot dog is my favorite meat. I love hot dogs. I love them in buns. I love them outside of buns. I love them with baked beans. I just like hot dogs. It's the best, best meat there is, without question. So to all of you.
Never mind. Think about this. What if climate change is a part of this? Or at least the man-made part of it is. Not to mention this again. Moreover, all these attorneys generals are suddenly suing BlackRock about manipulating environmental finance. And they are alleging a conspiracy, it turns out. What if our billionaires are fake? I mean, the guy who invented internet streaming didn't really invent it, Mark Cuban? The guy who invented Microsoft didn't actually write any of the code for Windows, Billy Boy. Even Robert Kowalski has made most of his money from selling books and not by practicing the financial advice he preaches in his seminars. What about the Federal Reserve? What about NASA? I need to know now. I mean, how does it work? Where do they get all the people? And I guess there is a plan with President Trump then too, right? Anything else?
Okay, yes. We are bored. We're all bored now. But has it ever occurred to you, Wally, that the process that creates this boredom that we see in the world now may very well be a self-perpetuating, unconscious form of brainwashing created by a world totalitarian government based on money, and that all of this is much more dangerous than one thinks, and it's not just a question of individual survival, Wally, but that somebody who's bored is asleep, and somebody who's asleep will not say no?
Now my charms are all o'erthrown, and what strength I have's mine own, which is most faint. Now, 'tis true, I must be here confined by you, or sent to Naples. Let me not, since I have my dukedom got, and pardon the deceiver, dwell in this bare island by your spell. But release me from my bands, with the help of your good hands. Gentle breath of yours my sails must fill, or else my project fails, which was to please. Now I want spirits to enforce, art to enchant, and my ending is despair, unless I be relieved by prayer, which pierces so that it assaults mercy itself and frees all faults. As you from crimes would pardoned be, let your indulgence set me free. President Trump as Prospero. The world is poised to change in ways that are going to truly challenge who we are and redefine who we want to be. If President Trump does have something to show us, we have to ask ourselves what that might mean. About him, about us, about elections and presidents and countries and history, about everything. No matter who you are, no matter where you are from, and no matter what the truth actually is, we hope you tune in for Sea Change Part 2. Because the really neat stuff isn't found while dreaming. What might the waking world look like if President Trump isn't bluffing? The world changed once when there was a market price for gold. What will happen if there evolves a market price for truth? And what the heck does a market price mean? Just do the best you can, every day of this year. Let's at least fix the flipping news before the aliens get here. God bless President Trump.